The Omega Moon was not a place for kindness. It was a place of shadows, of deals made in silence, and of lives sold for credits. Joran walked through the dark alley, his coat heavy with dust, his boots making soft echoes on the metal floor. Neon signs flickered above him, red, blue, green like broken stars. This was the black market, a place where anything could be bought, if the price was right. Joran was a smuggler. He had traded weapons, fuel, medicine, even stolen AI chips. But tonight, he came for something else, something quiet, something human. He walked into the auction house. It was dark, and smelled of oil and sweat. The room was full of aliens and humans, all looking at the stage with hungry eyes. The auctioneer stood tall on the platform, wearing a mask and a long coat. His voice echoed through the room. Lot 95. Strong bones. Good for labor. A woman with a chain around her neck cried as she was pulled forward. The crowd shouted bids. She was sold in less than 2 minutes. Lot 96. Trained in basic tech work. No diseases. Another man. Another chain. Another quick sale. Joran stood in the back, quiet. He wasn't here for labor. He didn't know why he was here, really. Maybe he was just tired of the silence in his ship. Maybe he wanted company. Or maybe he just wanted to feel human again. Then the lights dimmed. Now, the auctioneer said, his voice suddenly slow and smooth. Lot 99. Rare genetics. Unregistered, no name, no history. Trained for high pleasure. From behind the curtain, a girl walked out. She was not crying. She was not afraid. She walked with her head high, her eyes sharp, her body calm. She was wearing a simple silver dress. Her hands were tied, but she looked like she didn't care. Like the chains were just decoration. The room went quiet. The auctioneer smiled. Come now, don't be shy. Starting at 500 credits. No one said anything. Joran watched her. She looked straight ahead. Not at the buyers. Not at the auctioneer. Just forward. As if her mind was somewhere else. 500, Joran said. Heads turned. 500 credits from the back. The auctioneer called. Anyone else? No answer. Sold. Joran didn't know why he spoke. He didn't plan it. But something about her eyes full of pain, but strong, pulled him in. Back at his ship, the girl sat quietly in the corner of his small room. Joran gave her a blanket, some water. She didn't drink. She didn't speak. He finally broke the silence. What's your name? She looked at him, then down. I didn't ask for a slave, Joran said, his voice soft. I just didn't want to be alone. Still, no answer. He sat down on the floor, across from her. I'm Joran. I fly cargo across the sectors. That's all. She looked up, slowly. Her eyes were a strange color, almost gold. Her voice was soft. I was a princess once, she whispered. Joran blinked. What? She said nothing more. I said, what did you say? She turned her face away. Nothing. But Joran had heard it clearly. I was a princess once. His heart beat faster. Was she joking, or crazy, or telling the truth? He looked at the small scar near her neck. It wasn't from chains. It looked like an implant removal. Royal implants. He stood up, feeling uneasy. Where are you from? No answer. Who sold you? Still silence. Why did you say you were a princess? She looked at him again. This time her eyes were full of something deeper. Sadness. Power. Memory. You bought a secret, she whispered. Not a slave. Joran felt cold. Suddenly, his ship's warning light flashed. Someone had scanned his ship. Someone was tracking him. He looked back at the girl. She was already standing, already calm. They found me, she said softly. Faster than I expected. Who? Joran asked. She didn't reply. But her next words chilled his blood. If you want to live, smuggler, you'll need to run. The sky of Villa Prime was full of gold and fire. Giant banners waved from the palace towers, showing the royal crest, a phoenix rising from flames. Inside the grand hall, a little girl stood beside a throne. She wore a silver crown and a dress stitched with stars. Her father, the High King, looked down at her. One day, he said softly, this throne will be yours. The girl smiled. Will I be a good queen, father? You will be more than a queen, he whispered. You will be remembered. Then came the explosion. Windows shattered. Screams filled the hall. Royal guards fell one by one, and as the king pulled her behind him, the girl saw her cousin raise a weapon and fire. The crown hit the floor. Now in deep space, Joran stared at the girl sitting across from him. No, not a girl. A mystery. A problem. a possible danger. Had locked the ship's control room, just in case. She hadn't moved since they left the black market. Just sat there, calm, like she belonged in a palace. Joran finally spoke. You said you were a princess. From where? She looked up, her face unreadable. If I tell you, you'll either laugh, or kill me. Try me. She took a deep breath. Villar Prime. 13th Royal Bloodline. I was heir to the Phoenix throne. Joran stared. Villar Prime was destroyed. The whole royal family was wiped out. That was 13 years ago. She nodded. I was 6. He shook his head. You expect me to believe you survived a royal massacre, was smuggled off-world, lived as a ghost, and then ended up sold as a slave? Yes. Silence. Do you remember your name? He asked. She hesitated. They erased it. But I remember. The taste of honey tea my nursemaid made. The sound of phoenix horns at dawn. And I remember. Betrayal. That word hung heavy in the air. Joran leaned back. So, if you're telling the truth, you're a living target. Which means I'm in trouble. She didn't reply. He stood up, nervous now. I need to know who's chasing you. I don't know who leads them, she said. But they wear black with silver rings. They don't talk, just kill. Joran's hands tightened. He had seen men like that before. Once, during a transport job in Sector 10. A group in black suits had wiped out a rebel camp in minutes. They didn't work for money. They worked for secrets. Joran went to the control room. Checked the radar. 3 ships behind him. No ID. Just shadows on the map. They're coming, he whispered. He returned to her. We can't outrun 3 ships. She looked at him calmly. You don't need to run. You need to go to a dead planet. What? She pointed to the on the wall. That one. Cairo 7. That's a junk world. Nothing lives there. She smiled faintly. Exactly. Joran frowned. Why there? She stood up, slow and steady, as if gravity was weaker under her. Because the last loyal AI of the Vila throne is sleeping under its surface. Joran blinked. You buried an AI on a junk planet. I didn't. The palace did. In case the royal family fell, the AI would wait. For me. One day later, orbiting Cairo 7, the planet looked like dust and bones. No cities. No light. Just cracked land and broken machines. Joran landed the ship in a canyon. The girl stepped out, her feet touching the dirt like it remembered her. She led him to a half-buried door, hidden under metal scraps. She pressed her hand to the scanner. Nothing then. She whispered something in a strange, old language. The door clicked open. The door clicked open. Inside was darkness. But slowly, golden lights turned on, one by one, down a long tunnel. At the end of the tunnel, a giant, metal throne. Around it, machines hummed softly. A voice filled the air. Deep, cold, yet familiar. DNA match confirmed. Crown protocol activated. Welcome back, Princess Alira. Joran turned toward her in shock. Lira. Her name. The AI continued. You are now recognized as the last living royal of House Villar. Would you like to begin the resurrection of the throne fleet? Alira looked at Joran, her voice calm. Yes. But first, erase all memories of my location from the central grid. If they're watching, they must forget. Joran whispered. You really are her. She turned to him, eyes shining like burning stars. And now, smuggler, you must decide. Do you run, or do you rise? Dream sequence. Not his own. Joran stood in a golden hall. The air spouted like fire and roses. He was wearing royal armor. Guards bowed as he walked past them. A crown rested in his hand. A woman waited at the end of the Haliung, proud, eyes full of stars. Come back to me, she said. He blinked. He didn't know this place. These weren't his memories. Suddenly, the sky cracked open. Warships fell like fire. Screams echoed. Blood spilled down white marble steps. He turned to run. The woman's voice followed him. Wake up, Joran. Wake up before they find us. Reality. Cairo 7 underground base. Joran opened his eyes. Gasping, sweat rolled down his face. Alira stood nearby, hands on a glowing panel. The ancient AI surrounded them with quiet humming sounds. Gold lights pulsed like a heartbeat. You were dreaming, she said, not turning to him. That wasn't my dream, Joran whispered. It felt real, like I lived it. Alira turned, her face calm but tired. You touched the AI core last night. Royal data leaks sometimes, into nearby mines. It's not dangerous, just confusing. Joran stood up. I saw you. Before everything burned. I was in the palace. I felt something. She nodded. You saw a memory. I lost. One I can't afford to feel anymore. Joran stared at her. What else can it do to me? Depends, she said. The AI chooses what to reveal. He walked closer. Alira, you're hiding something. She said nothing. Joran continued. Back on the ship, you were ready. You knew we'd be chased. You knew where to go. You even knew the AI would obey. He paused. And now, I'm dreaming like I'm part of your past. He lowered his voice. Who are you really? Alira stepped forward, eyes glowing softly in the golden light. I was the heir to a dying empire. But the truth is, I was trained from birth to take it back by force. Joran blinked. You mean, you were a warrior? She shook her head. Worse, I was the crown's secret weapon. Dark revelation. The ghost chain she rolled up her sleeve. On her upper arm, barely visible under her skin, was a thin, silver line. It pulsed faintly. A neural link, she explained, built by royal scientists. It stores command codes, voice patterns, and memories. Joran moved closer. Is it controlling you? No, but it's part of me. It was meant to bond with the royal protector, the one I was supposed to marry. Joran's heart dropped. And that's me now, he asked quietly. She gave a sad smile. No, he died in the attack. But the AI is confused. It senses the bond with you, because you were exposed to the core data. It thinks, maybe, you're him. Joran looked down at his hand. It trembled, Alira continued, her voice darker now. That's why the assassins are coming. Not just for me, but for anyone who touches the old blood, or the old tech. Joran turned toward the entrance. How many are coming? The AI responded, before Alira could. 3 ships, entering orbit. Heat signals match Obsidian Division eliminators of royal bloodlines. Joran looked at Alira. Do we run again? No, she said. Then she reached into the wall and pulled out a weapon. Old, beautiful, silver-bladed. It thrummed like a living creature. We make them bleed. Mid-battle ambush. Surface of Kyra 7. Joran and Alira stood on a cliff. The assassins landed fast black suits. Silver masks, moving like shadows. The first one lunged. Joran shot him twice. No effect. Alira moved like fire-hurt blade, singing through the air, slicing through one of the attackers. Sparks flew. The killer screamed, then went silent. The second attacker pulled a strange device. Alira screamed. Down. The blast knocked them both off the cliff. Hidden cavern below the surface, they landed hard in a deep hole. Half-natural, half-machine. Joran groaned. His side burned. Alira helped him up. He looked around. Strange symbols glowed on the walls. What is this place? He asked. Alira whispered. The tomb of the first queen. The AI guided us here. On the far wall, a massive metal door opened slowly. Inside were thousands of cryopods. Some broken, some still glowing. This, Alira said, was our final hope. A clone army of royal protectors. My family didn't trust outsiders. Joran stared at her. And now, she turned to him. Now I have only one. Cold orbit, enemy POV. First time he stood still inside the black ship. His name was not known. He had no voice, no face, no records. But the silver tattoo on his neck burned with purpose. It marked him as part of the Obsidian Division. The royal family's secret assassins, now turned executioners of the very bloodlines they once protected. He stared down at the cracked surface of Kyra 7. Target is confirmed alive, came the voice in his earpiece. She has awakened the Phoenix AI. He gave no reply. Only one mission mattered. Erase the last royal blood. Erase the memory of the throne. His weapon lit up, not with fire, but with silence. Then he whispered for the first time in years. I trained her to fight. Underground, cavern, tomb of the first Queen. Alira stood in front of the cryopods. Her face was pale. The lights from the pods reflected in her gold-touched eyes. Joran was silent beside her. So, he said finally, this is your secret army. She nodded. It was meant to protect my future. Now it guards my past. Joran looked closer. Each pod held a warrior. Some young, some old, some wore armor, some wore royal symbols. But one pod was different. Inside was a girl who looked exactly like Alira. Joran froze. Is that you? No, Alira said slowly. That was the backup. The what? The scientists didn't trust my training. They made a copy of me. A clone. Same mind, same face, but one difference. What difference? Alira's voice turned cold. That version was loyal to the council. I wasn't. Flashback. 5 years before, in a hidden lab on Villa's dark side, two girls fought, with bladed staffs. One moved with elegance, the other with fire. "You will obey," said a masked elder, the girl with fire in her eyes. Spit at his feet. The clone bowed quietly. The elder chose the quiet one. They branded the other, marked her a traitor. Back to present revelation and doubt. Joran stepped back. "Wait, they tried to replace you." Elira nodded. "They didn't want a queen. They wanted a puppet." He looked back at the sleeping clone. "What if she wakes up?" he asked. "She won't," Elira said. But Joran wasn't sure she meant that. Sudden power flare. AI disturbance. The AI's voice crackled. "Warning. External signal detected. Enemy unit attempting neural breach." Elira gasped. Her implant burned. Joran caught her as she fell to her knees. "What's happening?" She gritted her teeth. "Someone linked to my neural chain. It's him, my old teacher. The one who trained me in secret combat. He's with the Obsidian Division now." Joran's eyes widened. "The assassin chasing us." She nodded. "He knows how I think. He knows my codes. And he knows where we are." Alarms blare. Enemy breach begins. The tomb doors started to rumble. Rocks fell. The air went cold. "They're coming," Joran said, pulling out his weapon. The AI voice echoed again. "Unauthorized entrance. One lifeform detected. Combat rating. Class Alpha." Elira stood tall, her voice calm. "Seal the clone pods." The AI hesitated. "Now," she shouted. The pods hissed shut. Metal covered them like shields. Joran turned to her. "Are you sure they're on your side?" She looked him in the eye. "No. Confrontation, betrayal comes home." The assassin entered the chamber. Tall, silent, wearing black and silver. He removed his mask. Joran aimed, then stopped, because the assassin looked just like Elira. Odar, male, with the same golden eyes. Elira whispered, "Brother." Joran blinked. "You have a brother. He was the crown's protector. But when the palace fell, he chose survival over honor." The man stepped forward. "I chose truth," he said calmly. "The truth that our family was poison. The truth that the galaxy is better without the throne." Elira raised her blade. "Then you will die with your truth." Ending cliffhanger. Family blade versus family blood. The battle began. Joran shot, but the brother deflected it midair. Elira and her brother clashed. Blade sparks flew, walls cracked. They moved like shadows of the same soul. Joran shouted, "Stop. He's your family." But neither stopped. In a final strike, Elira drove her blade toward him, but he caught it and whispered, "You are the clone." Her eyes widened. Everything froze. Glitching mind inside Elira's neural core. The throne room flickered. Now it was gold. Now it was gray. Now it was fire. Voices echoed. "You are the princess. You are made, not born. You carry the bloodline. You carry the code. You are Elira. You are not Elira." She saw herself twice. One stood in the mirror, dressed in silver robes, holding a crown. The other wore chains and scars. They both looked at her. They both whispered, "You are me." Then the mirror shattered. Reality. Cryo tomb. Cairo 7. Joran caught her as she collapsed. Her eyes rolled back, body shaking. "She's glitching," her brother said coldly. "The neural link is fragmenting." Joran raised his weapon again. "What did you do to her?" "I told her the truth." He stepped closer, calm, blade lowered. "She wasn't born in the palace. She was built in a secret lab. The real Elira died as a child. This one was created to replace her." Joran shook his head. "No, she remembers. She feels. That can't be fake." The brother looked at him. "She remembers what we programmed her to remember. Pain is just a signal. Loyalty is just code." Elira opened her eyes, breath sharp like a blade. "No," she whispered. "I chose this. I chose me." Fight of fire and truth. She rose, slow but steady. Her hands burned with energy drawn from the AI core. Her blade flickered gold. "I may have been made," she said, "but I made myself." Her brother raised his weapon. "Then prove it." They clashed again. Joran backed away, watching two versions of the same bloodline war across the ancient tomb. Walls cracked. The air shook. The AI's voice tried to stabilize the power. "Warning. Neural feedback loop. Emotional core destabilized." Elira screamed, pushing her brother back. "You don't get to erase me." He grinned. "Then, let me overwrite you." The deepest memory, the final trigger. Suddenly, both of them froze. A sound filled the room, a soft humming. A lullaby. The same melody played long ago in the nursery of the royal palace. Both Alira and her brother looked toward the source. The AI had activated a royal memory shard. The screen showed two small children, a boy, a girl, laughing, playing. The boy gave the girl a paper crown. "You be queen today," he said. Alira whispered, "That's real." Her brother blinked. "No, that can't be." Tears touched both their eyes, but it was too late. Joran shouted, "Behind you!" The second assassin, silent, masked, leapt from the shadows. But Alira didn't move. She turned slowly and cut through him in one strike. No fear, no hesitation. She stood in silence, covered in shadow and sparks. Claiming the throne, the AI recognizes her fully. The eye spoke again. Emotional core stabilized. Bloodline confirmed. Designated Alira, Phoenix Line Alpha. Welcome, Queen. The title echoed like thunder. Even her brother stepped back. He whispered, "Then, you are her." Alira looked at him, not with hate, but sorrow. "You lost faith in us," she said. "But I still remember the promise we made. We would rule together." Her voice cracked. "You were supposed to protect me." He fell to his knees. "I was afraid." Joran lowered his weapon. The silence that followed was heavier than war. Awakening the fleet, the AI screen lit up with hundreds of symbols. "Do you wish to activate the Phoenix fleet?" Alira didn't speak. She turned to Joran. "I was born for war," she said. "But maybe I can choose peace." Joran stepped forward. "You can, but they're still out there. The ones who sent your brother, the ones who fear you." Alira nodded. "Then we won't start a war. We'll end the old one." She touched the screen. Fleet awakening. Orbital ships rising from cryodock. 12 royal war carriers online. The sky above Cairo 7 turned golden as massive ships lifted from ancient ground. The Queen had risen. Ending cliffhanger. The Shadow Admiral watches far above, in the cold dark of space. Another ship floated, black, silent, unseen. Inside, a figure stood watching the fleet come alive. He wore the old robes of the Royal Council, and on the screen, Alira's face glowed. "She's alive," he said softly, "and she remembers. Send word to the Outer Thrones. Operation Ashfall begins." Opening hacked transmission across the galaxy. "This message is not from your leaders. This message is not from the Council. This message is not approved by any system." The screen flickers. A grainy image comes into focus. A woman steps forward, calm, regal, silent power in her eyes. She wears no crown, no title. Only a single symbol glows behind her. The Phoenix, reborn in fire. She speaks, "I am Alira, first daughter of the Vila throne. The one they erased, the one they feared. I am not a slave. I am not a clone. I am not your puppet. I am the last queen. And I remember everything." The screen goes black. Across spaceports, mining colonies, slum cities, and royal bunkers. Silence falls. Then whispers rise like sparks. "She's alive. The throne lives. The Queen is back." Orbiting Cairo 7 Royal flagship Vigilant, Don Joran stepped onto the bridge of the newly awakened warship. It was massive, built for battle, controlled by ancient AI, and shaped like a phoenix, with wings spread across the stars. Alira stood at the helm, her hands behind her back. "Broadcast went out," Joran said. "You sure about this?" She didn't turn. "They took everything from me, my name, my truth, my past." She finally looked at him. "So now, I give it to everyone." Joran nodded. "You just painted a target on your head." She gave a soft smile. "Good. Let them aim higher." Far sector Outer Rim Council meeting inside a cold metal chamber. Robed figures gathered. One slammed his hand on the table. "She's not supposed to be real." Another said, "We burned her bloodline." A third whispered, "If she controls the Phoenix fleet, she controls half the old galaxy." A voice from the shadows spoke, "Then we burn it again." The others looked up. The Shadow Admiral stepped forward, face hidden by a mirrored mask. "She wants peace. We give her war. She wants justice. We give her chaos." He placed a dataship on the table. "Operation Ashfall begins now. Cairo 7 fleet in formation." Joran stood beside Alira as warships aligned across the sky. The AI reported, 12 Phoenix carriers online. Weapon systems restored. Shielding at 90%. Joran asked, "Are we really doing this?" Alira didn't answer. Instead, she walked toward the strategy table. A map of the sector glowed in front of her. Enemy fleets, loyalist systems, pirate zones, refugee colonies. Every color was a choice, every light a life. She reached for one flashing red zone. Here, she said. Joran, leaned in. That's a slave world. Mining base. No political value. She looked at him. That's the point. We start not with fire, but freedom. The first strike, but not with weapons. The Phoenix fleet jumped. No warning, no blasters, no demands. They arrived above the mining planet and broadcast a single sentence. Your chains are broken. You are free. Illyra walked down in person, not in armor. In light, she stood before thousands of tired, dust-covered workers. One child looked up. Are you a queen? Illyra knelt. Double quotes. No. I'm what they tried to bury. Twist Ashfall begins, but in the darkness of deep space, Ashfall had already started. A hidden ship fired a virus into the AI network. Back on the Vigilant Dawn, screens began to flicker. Warning. Code breach detected. Systems failing. AI destabilizing. Joran shouted. What's happening? The ship AI glitched. Memory conflict. Origin compromised. Suddenly, one of the other Phoenix ships turned to mean weapons. Not at enemies, but at their own fleet. Final scene. Illyra sees a ghost as chaos began in orbit. Illyra felt a pull in her mind. The old neural link burned. She saw a vision. A woman in a black crown. Eyes like her own. The clone. You rose too fast. The clone whispered. Now, let's see if you can survive the fall. Opening the clone's broadcast across 1,000 screens. Her face appeared. Same eyes. Same voice. Same fire. But colder, sharper. I am Illyra of House Vyler. I was taken, hidden. My identity stolen by a shadow. The woman leading the Phoenix fleet is not me. She is a weapon, a copy, a threat. She has hijacked my legacy, my ships, my face. I call upon all loyal citizens of the Empire to stand against this impostor. There is only one crown, and I have come to take it. Transmission ends. The galaxy divides. Phoenix ship, Vigilant Dawn, in orbit. Joran slammed his fist on the console. She's flipping the story. Illyra stood silent, watching her own face lie across the stars. She's using my voice, Illyra whispered. The AI code must have accepted her. She has partial command. The ship trembled. 2 allied carriers turned their weapons inward. AI system buzzed with confusion. Identical DNA. Conflicting commands. Priority unclear. She's overriding you, Joran asked. No, Illyra said calmly. She's challenging me. Illyra's decision. No throne without truth. Illyra stepped into the AI chamber. The heart of the fleet. She placed her hand on the core. Override command, she said. Transfer all authority. To open trial protocol. Let the fleet choose. The AI paused. This was not in its programming. Trial format confirmed. Duel of authority. Legacy versus lineage. Joran watched, shocked. You're going to fight her? One-on-one. Illyra nodded. No more running. No more shadows. Battle arena. The hollow throne on. A neutral station once built for royal trials. The 2 Illyras stood face to face. Identical in form. Different in presence. One carried rage. One carried sorrow. The galaxy watched in silence. Only one shall rise, the AI announced. The duel began. Blades met. Sparks flew. Every strike was mirrored. The same training. The same reflex. But different hearts. The clone fought with speed, precision, perfect programming. Illyra fought with pain, with memory, with scars, and that made her unpredictable. Final moments of the duel. The clone slashed toward her throat fast, merciless, but Illyra dropped her blade. She let the blade stop just inches from her neck, and whispered, I forgive you. The clone froze. What? I see it now, Illyra said softly. You weren't built to replace me. You were built to protect me. If I died. The clone's hand shook. Illyra stepped forward. You were never the lie. You were the shield. The blade fell from the clone's hand. Tears touched her face. The first sign of anything human. Then a gunshot. Twist, the council's last bullet from the shadows of the crowd. A robed figure raised a small pistol. The shadow, Admiral. No heirs. No queens. No future. He fired. Illyra's eyes widened. Joran leaped between them. The bullet struck. Him silence. Then fire. The clone moved first, fast as lightning, and drove her blade through the assassin's heart. He collapsed at Joran. Fell. Lyra. Caught him. Why? She whispered. He smiled weakly. You gave me something worth saving. Aftermath, the choice that changed everything, the AI voice echoed. Bloodline preserved, identity verified. Awaiting final command. Alira stood over to crowns, the old symbol of royal power, and the clone's black version. She looked at her twin dot. The clone knelt. You are the queen. Alira bent down. No, she whispered. We both are. She placed the crown in her clone's hands. I will lead in light. You will protect in shadow. Final broadcast, a new throne across the galaxy. Screens lit up one final time. Alira's voice echoed. They tried to erase us. Tried to control us. Tried to divide us. But we chose something stronger. Not vengeance. Not domination. We chose unity, choice, and peace. Behind her stood the clone. No longer a weapon. No longer a shadow. Just Alira. Part of the whole. Closing scene. A new era begins. Jorin, alive but recovering, watched from the medical wing. Outside the window, Phoenix ships soared through the stars, not for war, but for rebuilding. Alira entered, smiling gently. We win? He asked. She took his hand. No, she said. We ended the game.